guys! So, I've been asked a few times to do a question and answer video. I'm borrowing my brother's microphone, by the way, so I apologize if the sound is weird. It's a very sensitive microphone, so I have it far away, so it might sound like I'm in another room or something. Ooh! I don't know. Anyway, I've been asked multiple times to do a question and answer video, and I've never really gotten around to it, but I've been getting a lot of anonymous questions lately, and I've been honestly hoarding them. So that I could do this. And there are a couple precursors to this video. First off, I'm not going to answer every question, because people say that there's no such thing as stupid questions, and that's frankly bullshit. I can't even begin to touch some of the questions that come into my inbox. I'm just where do I start? And it's really frustrating. And so I'm not going to answer every question. As a little addendum to that, whichever one of you has been asking me anonymously every single day for a month and a half about my bra size, please stop, because you're being a dick, and you're making Tumblr not fun for me, and you're frustrating me a lot. And frankly, unless I'm sleeping with you, my boobs are none of your concern. I don't even want to know who you are. Just please stop. Just don't do it anymore. Just stop, please. There are a lot of questions that I get that are of a very personal nature and are very taxing for me to answer, such as the one that I just uploaded. And so there are a lot that are still sitting in my inbox that I may or may not get around to because they're very difficult for me to talk about. And so those are still sitting there, and I apologize for that, and I appreciate your patience with that. Another thing is that I get a lot of questions asking about, like, the BuzzFeed article that I posted yesterday, and things that could be potentially triggering for people. So this is going to be like a light and fluffy about me video. It's going to be really not that serious, because I don't want to potentially trigger anybody with some of those mysterious questions, because I love you guys and would hate to do that to you. And so, if you asked one of those questions, that is forthcoming. For those of you who've been asking me to do a video season, we will also be doing that, potentially later tonight. I don't actually know. I don't know what my plans are. But it will be happening at some point, so stop asking, because it will happen. I have about 10 or 15 questions here. Some of them are the most commonly asked ones, and then some of them I just thought were interesting. I don't feel like talking for like 3 hours, and so this is just what I have put together. So we're just going to go for it. Yay! What did you want to be when you grow up? I still have the same dreams as I did when I was a child, and I feel that that is not normal. I don't think it's necessarily abnormal to want to do what you wanted to do when you were a kid. It really depends on what your dream was. For example, if you wanted to be a doctor, that's perfectly plausible, unless, like, you don't have hands, because then you probably can't really help people that much. I apologize if any of you don't have hands. Like, seriously, it's not funny. Oh no, okay. See, hands aren't useful, though, they knock things over. Okay, I'm done. I'm such a shitty person. Anyway, it really depends on what you wanted to do when you were a kid. I wanted to be a pilot, and an astronaut, and a tiger tamer, and a UFC fighter. So, that translates into my current life, because it's further proof that I do not set realistic goals for myself, quite frankly. Because I didn't want to be just one of those things, I wanted to be all of them. I mostly wanted to be a UFC fighter. I used to listen to the radio. I wanted to be a WWE wrestler, but then I found out that that wasn't real, and I was really disappointed, because I wanted to legitimately get ripped and beat the shit out of people. And so then I found UFC when I was 8 years old, and I fell in love, and I've been in love ever since. And when I was a kid, I used to listen to the radio and try and find the most badass songs I could on the radio stations, because I was, like, figuring out what my... Because, like, before I was allowed to use the internet, I would try to figure out what my theme song would be while I was walking out that everyone would get all pumped to and everything like that. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes I still hear songs like that, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be my UFC song. So, that's still kind of a dream, but it's not something I'm pursuing. But no, honestly, it just really depends on what your dream is. I am kind of pursuing my childhood dream in that after I finish my college school, I'll be returning to school to do zoology with a focus in carnivorous mammals so that I can do research projects and work with big cats in a sanctuary, as well as possibly be a carnivore keeper at a zoo such as the San Diego Zoo. So it's along the lines of a tiger tamer, but not really the same. So I'm sure that there's a way that your childhood dream is either attainable or can be translated into something that you can do. I don't think that that's abnormal at all, and I think it's really awesome that you have something that you've wanted to do for your whole life, because a lot of people look for something like that. So I'd say just go for it if it's something that makes you happy and is plausible, unless, like, your childhood dream was to be Hannibal Lecter. Please don't do that. Like, don't hurt people. If your dream involves hurting people, you shouldn't do it. Unless you're a stuntman and you're hurting yourself. Man, advice can be confusing. Okay. When is your birthday? My birthday is April 6th, 1993. I'm 20. Yeah. Actually, since I'm adopted, and when I was a kid, for whatever reason, I don't remember who said it to me or why, it was one of my relatives said something to me about they didn't know when my real birthday was, because I'm adopted, and they just knew it was sometime in April, and I was like, are you serious? And so I thought that we didn't know my birthday for a really long time, and then I realized they were messing with me like 2 years later. So, true story. What advice would you give to somebody trying to love themselves more? This is something I've answered a couple of times, and I always have different answers, because it's hard to think of the one thing, of like one definitive thing that's really good, but I think I figured it out. And I think that my best advice, is to accept compliments. Because there are a lot of good things that you can do. Walking around naked to improve your body image. Not like in public, just like by yourself in your house. And saying good things to yourself in the mirror. Like, that stuff's all really helpful. But the thing that I noticed made the biggest change in me was when I started accepting compliments. Because it used to be that if somebody complimented me, I would, like, if they'd say, you're pretty, I'd say, oh, no, I'm really not. Or if they'd say I was funny or whatever I was, even if I knew it was true, even if it was something like, oh, you have brown eyes, I'd be like, no, I don't. Like, I would just, nope, not listening to you. And so, once I started actually accepting compliments, even if I didn't believe them, I would just say thank you. Even if I had to do it through gritted teeth, I would like, thank you. No, just stop that. Thanks, okay? Like, even if it was like that, because I just really couldn't even believe it, and it was just so against it, I started accepting compliments. And I noticed that I started feeling better about myself, and I would look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, I look good today, or, you know, whatever. And so my biggest thing is, even if you don't believe it, even if it makes you feel like a cocky asshole, whatever, accept compliments. You don't even have to say anything other than thank you. Or if it's like in person and you don't even want to say anything, just smile. Just be like, thanks. Cheesy smile. This is such a fake smile. I'm fake smiling for you. Yeah, thanks for the compliment, go away. Like, you don't have to be like that, accept compliments. What's the most important lesson you learned since coming out? That's an interesting one. I don't want anybody to take this to heart for themselves. I mean, you can, but think of it realistically, because each area is different and each person is different, and I don't want you to think that everything's okay if you're actually in a dangerous situation. I want you to be safe. But for me, personally, what I learned is that being gay, I was not in as much danger as I thought I was. And that I was making it way bigger of a deal than it needed to be. Because I used to think that I would get attacked everywhere I went, and I used to think that if anybody knew that I was gay, like just a random person in town, if they heard me talking about a girlfriend or whatever, that they would flip out at me and this, that, and the other thing. And at this point, I just, like, don't give a shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter to me. If someone says something to me about it and they're like, I'm out in public, I'm not like looking around seeing if anyone heard or anything like that. My biggest thing was just that I was not in as much danger as I thought I was, and I put way more pressure on myself than I needed to. I think that was the biggest lesson I've learned since coming out, is that not as many people care as I thought they did. Are you looking for a relationship? I get this question literally daily. No, I'm not. I'm never looking for a relationship because I don't actively seek them out. I used to, and what I noticed in doing that is that I was attracting people into my life who fit in that moment when I felt that I needed somebody. But then as soon as I was in a better place, they didn't fit anymore and we didn't work out. And so I don't ever look for a relationship because I am happy now. I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with the people in my life. And I don't want to actively try to find somebody who's going to fit into that. I just let things happen as they happen. I love friends. And if I meet somebody and it turns into something more, then that's fantastic. Because I love relationships, and I love being with someone. I love kisses and cuddles, and I love, even in a long-distance relationship, I love having somebody to talk to at the end of the day and share your day with, who really understands you and stuff like that. I love relationships, but I don't ever actively seek them out, because I feel like if someone's going to fit into my life, they will just fit. I don't have to look for that. So no, I'm not looking for a relationship, but I'm also not going to deny a relationship if someone comes into my life. I'm just kind of living, and if it happens, it happens. How can I get to know you? I get this question a lot too, and it's kind of confusing to me, because all you have to do is send me a message. I will literally talk to anybody. Anybody. That makes me sound like an attention whore. But I just love people, and I love getting to know people, and it's difficult because people don't see that in my real life, because I get very, very anxious around people in person, and I'll be like 5 minutes of contact, and I'm like, I need to leave. But, like, online, I have no problem talking to people. I have no problem actually meeting up and hanging out with people. I do that a lot. If you live in my area, I'm more than willing to get a cup of coffee with you or something like that. But just send me a message. Just say, hey, my name is so-and-so. Or just, you can even start with something random. You can start with a joke or just whatever. Just talk to me, and I'll talk to you. It's really simple. What is your religion? This is another question that I get a lot. And I am not really religious. If you want to talk about what religion I identify my beliefs with closest, that would be non-denominational Christianity. But I don't believe in religion itself. I believe in God. But I also believe that it's entirely possible that I'm wrong, and that there are other gods out there, and that my whole system of belief is wrong. And I think that whatever power of being is out there is a just and loving one, and wouldn't condemn people to hell for not knowing what to believe, because we have so many signals that come at us all the time. So I'm spiritual. I do believe in God. I pray. I occasionally read my Bible, but I have my struggles with the Bible, and I will not go into that right now. So I'm not really religious. I have attended church a few times. I've done mission work. I would happily be a missionary because I believe in what they do. I just don't believe in telling people that they're going to go to hell if they don't believe in Christ, which is what some missions are, and I don't think that's okay. But I'm not actually religious. I don't believe in religion itself. I think religion is an awful, awful concept. I hate it. Is Wolfie our only sibling? This confuses me because I post about my little sister Parker all the freaking time. Wolf is not my only sibling. He's my only sibling on Tumblr. He's 18. I have a younger brother named Walker and a younger sister named Parker. They live with me. And then I have an older sister named Keandra who doesn't live with me, and I've never met her. And then I have 3 younger siblings, Christopher, Michael, and Hannah, who also don't live with me. They live down in Oregon. So Wolf is definitely not my only sibling. Are you in season dating? I get this question all the time. Ever since I started Tumblr, this has been a question. And I would like to clarify once and for all. Season and I are not dating. Season and I will never, ever, 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 ever date. Ever, never, ever, never, 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 never. Because she's like my baby sister. She's, no. That's never gonna happen. No. Mm-mm. And I get questions about a lot, and I get questions about why we're not dating, and it's because she's like my little sister. She's been in my life for 12 years now, and I just can't. She's perfect as a best friend. She's perfect as a sister. I swear to God, that girl is my soulmate. She understands me better than anybody in the entire world in every single way. But she actually made a joke the other day and said that it's like we've friend-zoned ourselves because we've known each other for so long that it is impossible to try to look at each other that way. And we know because we tried. It can't. Nope. What was the best moment of your entire life? This is probably going to make me cry. The best moment of my entire life was 2 years ago. My little sister Parker is the most important person in the world to me. I would do anything for her. Anything, anything, anything. And when she was 5, she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, November 5th of 2011. And I won't go into the whole story, but basically it was really stressful, and she almost died, and she went into a coma. And after 2 days, she finally woke up, and I was sitting by her bed, and she, kind of turned her head and she looked at me through like squinty eyes and she went, "Sissy?" And I said, "Yeah, baby." And I like jumped up and I was like, "Yeah, Parker, what?" And she just goes, "I love you," and it conks out. And I seriously started having a panic attack because I was so, and I didn't think that was possible, but I was actually panicking because I was so happy. I was shaking and I felt like I was going to vomit and I couldn't stop crying and I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating and nobody could get me to talk and I was like dry heaving. It was awful. I was really freaking out because I never thought that I was going to hear from her again. I never thought that I was ever going to hear her talk again. I didn't think she was going to come out of it because the doctors were not hopeful. And so for her to wake up and say, "Sissy, I love you," and for those to be her first words to me, it just, that was the best moment of my entire life because I knew that my baby girl was going to be okay. And I knew that I was going to have her back and I wasn't going to have to figure out how to live without her. So, alright, now that we've gotten all stupid emotional, what kind of stores do you shop at, like for your Marvel hoodie and shirts and stuff? The Marvel hoodies from Wet Seal. I shop there a lot. They have a lot of really good clothes. A lot of them are just regular clothes, though. I wear a lot of graphic tees and stuff. A lot of Doctor Who stuff. Things in the fandoms that I like. Lots of comic book related stuff. And I usually get stuff like that from FYE or Hot Topic, or I shop online. I have like 30 places bookmarked, but I'm not going to try and recite them because I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now that you should never, ever listen to fashion advice from me, because this is a girl who is, as we speak, wearing very brightly colored leggings that are covered in comic panels from The Amazing Spider-Man. That is a fashion atrocity, and it should not ever happen, and I'm doing it anyway, so don't ever listen to me for fashion advice. You've mentioned that you write music. Do you have any of it recorded? I do, but I was not happy with it because I really hate my voice and I have a hard time sharing my music with people because it's very deeply personal, and so I don't have that out. I've been thinking about re-recording something and putting some of my music up, and so if that's something that you guys would be interested in, I can do that, but as of right now, I don't really have anything recorded. Oh my god, have I been babbling for 17 and a half minutes? Oh, I'm really sorry. Nobody has probably even gotten to this point. That's the end. I talk so much. I hope that answered some of your questions. Yeah, that's really it. So, if you have any other questions, go ahead and ask, I guess. I will try to make the other videos not this long. But I love you guys, and thank you for always supporting me and being here for me and asking me questions that are not related to my boobs. And I love you guys, and I hope you're all having a great night. Bye!